I mean, at least I was looking.
That's true. At least we didn't talk for another hour. All right, everybody. This is Couch Cushions Aftermath of
The aftermath to the aftermath.
And technically the sequel to like today's take.
Yep.
Yes.
So,
Take two.
Yes.
so these are gonna be a little bit more rehearsed than the first time, which is good, I guess. But
sure.
so we talked about Corey's reaction when he left.
Yeah, after the aftermath episode, I was high as fuck, and it was like you didn't have anything to distract you from it. You know, we're doing an episode, so you're stimulated, your mind's going, and then it was like the microphones got shut off when we went to leave, and I looked at V, and I was just like, I'm not okay. Like, this isn't fun anymore. And what it was just like, it's totally just mind fuck. Like, it's you're in your own fucking head. It's mind
That's
control.
exactly what it was.
And it's, you know, I've over many years of binge drinking, I have that down to a science. This I don't so much. And yeah, no, go ahead.
This is gonna be a take I didn't tell you guys on the last takes. This is new information.
Oh.
Yay.
Basically, whenever I have that feeling, it sounds stupid as hell, and I'm sure you guys as drinkers can relate. Whenever I have that feeling of like being very aware, funny enough, when I smoke, like not edible high, but when I smoke with it, it takes that feeling of paranoia away. Because you got to think your body's reacting. Because when you eat edibles, your body's digesting the weed, and it takes longer to get out of your system. When you smoke it, it's affecting a different part of your brain, I think, from my understanding, and it kind of like takes the edge off. It makes it so like I've been that edible high before.
Yeah.
And I have to smoke like I usually like counteract it with a sativa because sativas are like the happier one, and that usually can get you
I
out
like
of that paranoia. Yeah, I know you do. But that gets you out of the paranoia and freak out, and it, as he says, levels you up a little bit, so you're not like because
I'm
trust
leveling
me,
up. I'm leveling
There's
up.
been plenty of times I like freak out, but yeah, but
Well, I think critically important here, and this is something you can take away too. You got to know your limits.
yep.
Yeah.
And,
Which you both are not like. You guys aren't daily stoners.
right.
For some of us, they don't even smoke that often at all. Like,
Well,
so,
and like
for
you
you to
said,
take a-
edibles hit you different.
and for you to take like an entire like, not prescribed, but the recommended dosage, and you don't smoke,
Yeah,
like
it's
your
gonna hit
body's-
different.
Yeah, your body's gonna absorb that shit immediately. Like you were telling us, like we were in the potluck, and you're like, I'm already feeling it. I'm just like, it's only been
Yeah.
10 minutes. The fuck?
Yeah, and that was when it was like, oh, this is awesome, man. You know, and it,
Everything's diamonds and rainbows, guys.
yeah, it's like that's what we were saying. Like the ride home that's normally 7-8 minutes felt like it was 45 minutes, and at the time it was just like I just want to be in bed with a glass of water next to me.
He was like bracing himself in the car.
You know, it was like, yeah, dude, like it. And it was really weird. It's just, it's, and it was different than smoking because I've smoked enough now that it's just like, okay, whatever. You know, you go throw a Stouffer's in the microwave and you're good.
Like you can get down from it. It's like
Yeah.
he didn't realize that the more you eat, the higher you get. Like that's why it hit him so fast because he was munching on the fucking potluck shit after we got.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And so it was like when we left, I was just like, oh my God, I'm fucking high. And I mean, it was fun though. Like in retrospect, it was fun. But in that moment, I was like, I just want to go to bed, man. You know?
How about you? How did you feel after?
So I said this on the first take, but there was some paranoia, but not like, oh my God, I'm dying paranoia. It was, oh my God, somebody's reading my phone paranoia. Like, let me go through
Big
my
Brother's
settings.
listening.
Which, by the way, is very warranted because
Yeah.
they always are.
Yeah, but like you suddenly like aware of it, like
Right.
Whereas normally it's just like whatever, and it's
Yeah.
not like I was doing anything. I was just sitting like
You weren't nefarious. You were just.
right in. You know, you guys might remember that my son was kind of like acting up that night. He was a little hyper because he was getting into sugar and stuff while we were making show.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And so, you know, I was at him a little bit. And afterwards, I was like, hey, man, sorry I had to yell at you, but you weren't, you know, you weren't keeping to yourself. And I was like, you know, what can we do, you know, because you should be in bed. And he's like, you know, I want to do more fun stuff with you. He's like, okay, well, would it be fun for us to watch a movie?
Uh-huh.
And so, like, I'm sitting there trying to watch a movie, and I'm like, holy shit.
And by the
Props to
way,
you. He wouldn't even he couldn't. He was just like,
Yeah.
I can't exist right now. I need to go to bed.
parenting when in that mind frame is not easy because you remember the incident we had, and it was just like it. In credit to her, and it's one of the many reasons I love you. You took over because I was in no state to be a parent and reprimand
The
and
worst
such.
part was he was still trying to deal with it. He was enjoying being high and he couldn't. His mom was like, "You need to parent." And he was like, "God damn it, I just wanted a night."
Yeah, yeah, and it was just man,
But props to you on that shit. Cause
for real,
what'd
dude.
you guys end up watching?
We watched South Park Streaming Wars. We watched both parts, part 1
So
and
you
2.
were trying to
Okay.
pay attention to South Park.
Yeah.
While
And I mean,
high.
thankfully,
That's a
that-
good show to watch. Then,
it
though.
actually- I wish
That's
I wish
true.
we wouldn't have watched those ones because I thought I'd seen them, but I hadn't apparently. And so as we're watching it, I'm finding myself starting to pass out. So there was a good 30 to 40 minutes between when y'all left and we started watching South Park.
Okay.
Because I was trying to get him to go to sleep.
Yeah.
And then
Right.
eventually he's still wired and I was like, "All right, so do you want to just come in here and watch a movie? Would that be fun?"
Right.
I was like, "This is, it's Christmas break. It's not like he has school in
Right.
the morning.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's stay up. This will be something fun for him to remember."
Right.
And then I would let him pick, and then that's what he picked. And by then I was finally coming down to where I
Sunday
was
morning
when
coming
you guys
down.
were here. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
And
it's okay, but
as-
then I went too far down and started passing out.
Yes. Yes.
That's where you smoke a little just to kind of
Yeah.
level it out.
That's
Do
why,
tips
like
and
we were
tricks for your
saying,
shenanigan shaman.
yes, which is totally what you were that night. Because I was hell bent, as you remember, on waking up and us hitting Shoney's, and we were going to her mom's the next day. I can't remember if this was said in this take, so this may be repeat material. If it is, whatever, take the ride with me. It was like, all right, we're going to get up early because we're going to be at her mom's for 2 days.
Which I had to microdose him on NyQuil to get him to go to sleep because he was so paranoid. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. And we didn't wake up till about 10:30, 11 o'clock. Breakfast buffet shuts down at 11. And it was just I was like, well, why didn't you tell me Shoney's? That would have gotten me up out of bed. And she was like, I did.
Several times, by
Yeah.
the way.
So it was like we got to her mom's.
It was so bad. My mom called me and she was like, "Hey, are you guys on the way?" I was like, "Hey," and she was like, "So I'm guessing by your tone, you're still asleep." And
Yeah.
I was like, "Yeah." So we took edibles last night. We're not. Yeah. And she was like, "Oh, okay." Well, she was like, "Well, Corey works enough. Let him sleep." I was like,
Yeah. And we got there and I was just like, yeah, my bad about the edible. And she was laughing. I was just like, that shit fucked me up. So yeah, that's why the fucking Z's were happening as much as they were, because it was like when I finally laid down, it was just like I was out, dude. I was out. I think you when you were you gave me the NyQuil, you said within 90 seconds you heard me in the
"Yeah."
other
He
room.
was knocked. Yeah.
Rap, dude. It was a good sleep though. It was a
Yeah.
good sleep. That sleep alone has carried me through the 3-4 days since. That was an epic elite sleep.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah. Yeah. But that was the aftermath. So.
Go
read-
back and watch that though.
Read your dosages, guys. Like we said, they
Yes.
did the written
Yes.
dosage. Keep in mind, if you don't smoke a lot, try a little bit. You can always add more later.
Right, exactly. If
We
a quarter
should've
doesn't
stuck
do
with
it
their
from
quarter
you.
idea and not the half, because that was probably bad on your shaman to.
Well, no, but it's funny because you were saying the next night you
We
and
did quarter
yeah,
each. and
I had
I
this
think that was
thought.
on the first tank.
Well, that's I can't remember, but if it's repeat material, are bad people. It's a podcast. Just deal with it. You're probably high watching this, and if not, you should be. So a lot of this is probably repeat material anyway, for you. But I thought the same thing. I was just like, there's another half in there,
yeah.
because there's that part of me that, when it's fun, I love that feeling,
yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
But it's very much like booze. There's a line that you can cross, and it's not fun anymore.
Well, not just that, it's a state of mind, with when you drink and when you smoke. I know for me, I can't, for some reason, I don't know if it's the way alcohol affects my brain or if I have shit I haven't dealt with or what, but when I drink, that state of mind, I can't escape it. No matter what kind of environment I'm in, I always end up in a negative headspace.
Yeah.
And if you don't have the right people to work with you through that, then it's kind of fucked. You end up with that. You know what I mean? It can do the same thing with weed. If you have either the wrong strain or the wrong environment and repeat those scenarios.
Yeah.
So it's very much a headspace. I kept telling him when he was too high, he just kept going, "Oh my!" I was like, "Corey, remember, You create what you're thinking. Like,
Mm-hmm.
just create your own vibe. And he's just like, I'm trying.
I remember at one point thinking like, I'm a piece of shit because my guy Morrison thrived like this, and here I am freaking out.
Well, the biggest thing is, like,
You know?
he and my mom were talking about this because they talked about their experience with edibles.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the control aspect. My mom thrives on control, and I think that's part of, like, not to put you on blast, but
Nope,
the
you're
OCD.
good. Yep.
OCD massively. Like, if you can't
Mm-hmm.
control the situation, your brain's like, I fucking hate this.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently she took mushrooms when she was younger.
Mm.
And she was like, I wanted to get home. This party was sketchy. So she drove home thinking the entire time her tires were marshmallows. And she was like, I just want to
Yes.
get home. I just want to get home.
I hope these marshmallows hold up.
I can't even imagine. Like, so
Yeah.
it's all about the state of mind you created in. Not saying that edibles are bad or good. Just be
You gotta,
mindful.
yeah, you gotta know.
It is what you make it.
Start at the smallest dosage you can take. As V said earlier, you can always do more.
Yes,
And
it's
when
like
you start talking shit on the edibles, that's usually when they hit.
Yes.
uh-huh.
That didn't happen this time, but yes.
Yeah.
That is every time I've ever done that. Then like 30 seconds later, like, whoa.
That happened
There it is.
the first time I tried edibles. Remember we were
Yes,
watching
he
the
was
show.
talking so much shit. Then 5 minutes later, he goes, I'm so fucking high.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
And I woke up at like 4 a.m, passed out on the couch, and like she was already in bed. And I was like, what happened? It felt like apocalyptic because all the lights are off, Netflix is still going, and you're like, what's going on? You know? And then you're like, oh, that's right.
So,
Oops.
Yeah.
yeah. Yep.
So
But
fun
yeah.
times though. That's definitely gonna happen again.
For sure.
For sure. But
But then I started realizing like what we, and it's not finances. I'm not frugal, but it's like what we paid for that and what I was like, oh my God, dude,
But I mean,
that's a fucking steal, dude.
yeah, when you think about it, like, we could each get high 4 times off of just the one thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Use.
Yeah.
I do a little too many edibles to be doing that.
Well, yeah, when the Paco thing, you took a whole ass one that was bigger than the one that we took a half of.
I took 300
So-
milligram whole one. They took a half
I don't
a
even remember.
a half of 100 milligrams. So that's
Yeah,
just
just for
a
perspective.
little bit. I
Yeah.
do this thing, and I'm going to talk about this on Glass Class or on a later pod episode, but just to give you a preview, I do this thing where I take a little bit of an edible and I also smoke. So it gives you the long-term effects of the edible, whereas you get the immediate high of smoking, which is kind of your ideal kind of scenario. It's delightful because as the edible high kicks in, you start laughing a lot more.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's always these little cheat codes. It's just how you enjoy your vibe.
Yep.
But anyway, this is just supposed to be a little clip just to give you the aftermath
Yeah. Bonus track to the bonus track,
of
people.
how that night ended. And
Yes.
yeah, so if you have any questions or if you have any cool stories about edibles and how you felt with your first time with legal edibles, yes, leave it in the comments below, and we will argue. No, I'm kidding. We won't argue.
We
We'll
will
just-
discuss civilly.
Yes, exactly. Maybe we'll bring your story up on the pod and be like, hey, whatever the fuck your face is, they had a fun time.
Here's how high they were.
Exactly. So, yeah. Anyway, leave that below, and stay tuned, stay positive, and stay stoned, people.
Boom.
Peace. Oh, this is awkward.